Am I the asshole for confronting a gym trainer who was discreetly trash-talking me to his client? I am a Caucasian individual, born and raised in a Chinese-speaking country. In my country, it is common for non-Chinese people to not understand the local Chinese dialect, relying on English as a lingua franca. However, I can both speak and understand the local Chinese dialect. I was in the gym deadlifting 180 kgs. There's a gym trainer 5 meters behind me training an older Chinese lady. The lady asks trainer in Chinese what's the point of him lifting so heavy. Trainer replies in Chinese with nothing. His body doesn't even look good. He's young so he can do it now but he will regret it in the future. His joints and bones will hate him. They then both begin to talk shit about me in a contemptuous tone loudly in Chinese. All the while I'm still only 5 meters away from them. I turned around and told trainer I hear you in Chinese. And the blood immediately drains from his face. He takes the lady away and they finish their session in another part of the gym. When the session is over and the lady leaves, I go up to trainer and confront him over what he was saying. And we have the following from memory conversation in Chinese. Me, do you have a problem? If you have a problem, you can say it to me. Trainer, no, there's no problem. I was only saying good things about you. She asked what was the point. And I said it's just something he enjoys and he can continue to do so whilst he's young. Me, that is not what you said. Stop lying to me. You were talking shit in Chinese thinking I don't understand you. Well, you can clearly see I understand Chinese. Apologize to me. Trainer, why would I apologize to you when I didn't do anything wrong? Me, you have disrespected me already by saying those things. And you are disrespecting me now by lying to me. If you don't apologize, I will lodge a complaint against you. I have taken a video of you saying these things. And I will show it to your boss. I lied. I didn't have any video. I was bluffing because I wanted him to stop bullshitting me. Fortunately, he got visibly flustered and the bluff worked. Trainer, look. I don't want our relationship to be damaged. If we see each other, can we still be polite to one another? Me, sure. If you apologize. You made a mistake. It was unprofessional to say what you said about me to your client. Be a man. Own up to your mistake and say sorry to me. And I will forget it happened. Trainer, I am sorry. Me, okay, now walk away. At this point, trainer was shaking. Either from anger over being told what to do, embarrassment, or because of adrenaline from the confrontation. He walks away and I go back to my workout. I told my family that this happened and they all think I took it too far by confronting him at his place of work, by lying about the video, and that I should have just ignored it. I can see that maybe the way I confronted him was not the best. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Honestly, you did a great job standing up for yourself. That was incredibly rude and disrespectful of your former trainer. Not to mention just plain mean. Not the asshole. Probably should have just logged a complaint against them, but I think what you did was fine. You taught them 2 lessons. 1. Not to be rude to people. 2. Don't lie to get out of another lie. I think you are right to confront them honestly. If they are happy to talk like that about a client, then they shouldn't be a trainer. Going to gym is a personal experience, they shouldn't judge that. At no point did I see you being rude, just being assertive. Also, nice deadlift. He was talking about you behind your back with a client thinking you did not understand. You didn't called him out on it. Plain and simple. He was at work when he said it. Why shouldn't you confront him there? A. Lying about the video. I can get over that. He would not have apologized otherwise. And that is what you wanted, acknowledgement and an apology. He was in the wrong and not professional. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. He was unprofessional and a liar. Good job. I get some, and then everybody clapped vibes. This honestly sounds super fake LMAO. Not the asshole up to the apology. You're the asshole for the walk-away demand after he already apologized. People are going to talk crap about you every day of your life. Learn to let it wash over you. I think that you gave this too much attention and let it go on for too long. Not the asshole. He criticized your body. And it's likely because he was jealous. Also, he is completely wrong. Deadlines are fantastic functional exercise when performed correctly. And they're called deadlifts because you're supposed to go heavy on them. Heavy resistance training with the correct form has numerous benefits. Even for the heart. Numerous studies have proven that lifting heavy weights is beneficial to all ages. As long as someone has the correct form. Lifting heavy is great. Good on you. Had me cheering for you up until okay. Now walk away. That last sentence made me cringe. Like you're playing tough guy or something. The trainer for talking about you assuming you couldn't understand him. But I feel like you're a much larger asshole for your lame alpha male attitude. The trainer was shaking. You told him now walk away. Grow up, man. You're not the badass you likely think you are. Not the asshole, but you barely squeaked by. They're a huge R for talking shit about you behind your back. You were completely justified in confronting them, but I think you took it too far and got a little aggressive. For me, just knowing I called them on their shit and embarrassed then would have been enough. Forcing an apology was clearly a bit of a power move. If anything, you should have just escalates it to gym management when he denied it. Not the asshole until the okay now walk away face vomiting so cringy. I was somewhat believing this story until we got to the part about how the trainer was shaking. And then OP said now walk away and he did. All that was missing was and everyone in the gym clapped. Not the asshole. He clearly needed the lesson of don't insult your customers where they can hear you. Even if you think they can't understand your spoken language. There's no real benefit if you're right and a lot of potential problems if you're wrong. In this case, the trainer is lucky that you just wanted an apology. You would have been justified in reporting this to someone in charge. There is nothing wrong with calling people out for this kind of thing. Speaking in a language he believed you did not understand made his actions all the more disrespectful. His client too, it should be said. When you confronted him on his actions, a stand-up person would have immediately apologized. His lying only made him look small and weak. An apology is exactly what you should have gotten without demanding it. This sounds so made up, lol. YTA for saying be a man. This is such a sexist bullshit phrase. Not the asshole. I'll be honest. The fact that he actually did apologize and ask to continue to be polite to one another tempts me to say that no one is the asshole. However, the only reason he apologized is because of your bluff. Hopefully he will be true to his word and not let this sour your future relationship. But I don't see that happening. He was too proud to admit that he was wrong and he will be too proud to forget this ever happened. Not the asshole. I would have done the same. Am I the asshole for not supporting my girlfriend financially? For context, I have been in a relationship with my first girlfriend for about a month now. I know her roughly since the middle of April, and she struggles financially as she is currently without a job to take care of her mental health. While I just finished my master's degree last year and now have a prestigious job that pays very well for my age. She told me today that she has no money left for the rest of the months and asked me to lend her money so that she can buy groceries and really has no options left. I know that she tends to spend money on stuff she wants instead of stuff she needs, like clothing or cosmetics, over food, as she both showed me that since we knew each other and seemed to not take advice on that matter. So I felt uncomfortable just giving her money. So we agreed on a compromise. She suggested that we go shopping together and I just pay for the groceries. A few hours later, she calls me and says that she talked with her friends about the situation and is now pissed at me that I treat her like a child who can't take care of herself. Real quote. And she also thinks I am an asshole because I forced that on her, and says I make her feel bad because I am going on vacation soon. I worked a lot of overtime the last few months and wanted to relax. I also booked the vacation before I knew how much she is struggling currently. She also tells me I don't understand how she feels and says that I don't know the real world. As I still live with my mother, I know that, and she knows I am actively searching for my own place to rent right now. So I want to know, am I the asshole in this situation? Not the asshole. It sounds like you came up with a solution that would make you feel more comfortable and still meet her needs. She just doesn't like it because, as you stated, she probably wants to spend the money elsewhere. Not the asshole. Dude. Time to look for your second girlfriend. This one is asking for your money 1 month into your relationship and attempting to verbally abuse you into giving her free rein with it. You're not a boyfriend. You're just her latest target. Move on. Not the asshole. Location flag, location flag, location flag. Run. She is trying to mooch off you. 1 month. Why would you want to continue this? Dating is for getting to know. Have you learned since April? She is bad with money. Expect you to support her. Act out when you say no. Say mean things to you when she doesn't get her way. Is this what you want? Not the asshole. An unemployed woman you have dated for a month is hitting you up for money and complaining you won't hand her cash. Walk away. Plenty of people struggle with mental illness and manage to work and pay their bills. It's time to cut your losses and walk away. She quit her job to focus on mental health without having any money and expects her boyfriend of 1 month to support her. Dump her broke ass and go on your vacation. No, not the asshole. Dump the girl. She needs to figure out her life and how to manage her finances. The relationship is way too new for all of this, and her attitude is unacceptable. She clearly has toxic friends with equally immature ways of thinking. Save yourself the headache and don't get sucked any further into that money pit. Not the asshole. And is now pissed at me that I treat her like a child who can't take care of herself. She's acting like a child by expecting you to take care of her finances instead of doing it herself. She should be grateful for doing her a favor, and instead she's yelling at you for not giving her cash. No op. You work your ass off. You can do better than this. Not the asshole. Please get out of this relationship. You don't owe her grocery money. She is taking advantage of you. Not the asshole. I guess. But I'd look askance at a request like that from someone I've only dated for a month. You don't know her well enough to know if this is genuinely a one-time thing or what. I bet she'll be asking again. And again. Etc. Not the asshole, only 1 month and she has the audacity to ask you for money. Leave. Sounds like she's using you. Not the asshole. You've only dated a month and she already wants your money. Run. Not the asshole. You bought her groceries and now she's blaming you for not giving her no questions asked cash. Instead, that's a huge red flag. If she's this demanding this early in the relationship, it's only going downhill from here. You need to let her go. Not the asshole. And never ejaculate anywhere in her vicinity. She sounds like a prime candidate to get pregnant. Not the asshole. Keywords GF of 1 month. She is not your financial responsibility. Hell. You two are barely acquainted. Not the asshole. You've only been seeing her a month. You took her grocery shopping, which was very kind and helpful of you. She's almost 30 and can't work a budget. She's a grown woman. Not your financial responsibility. Not the asshole. You're being used as an ATM. Find someone better. 1 month. I once had a period that long. It was as painful as your life will be if you keep seeing that girl. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Why do you view this leech you've known for about a month as a GF? Maybe a hookup. But she is a mooch that wants your money and lifestyle. You did the old. Give the homeless person a sandwich instead of money so they actually get what they need and she knows what she needs. Your money. Run. Don't look back. Not the asshole, but why are you with this person who 1 month in is asking for handouts? Break up with her and find an equal partner. Not the asshole. 1 month in and all she sees is an ATM. Run. Location flag. Location flag. Not the asshole. And if she doesn't want to be treated like a child, she should spend her money on necessities. Emphasis on her money, not someone she just started dating. Save yourself from future trouble and leave. She just wants your money. Please get out of this relationship. I smell a pregnancy trap. Not the asshole. You've been dating for a month and she expects you to do this. Please run for the hills as fast as you can. A month in and she is asking for money. Run. Run fast and far away. Do not give her any money. If you really think she needs food, give her a gift card to a grocery store as a lovely parting gift. While you are breaking up with her. Not the asshole. Run woman running man running woman running man running as fast as you can. I repeat, run. Huge red flags here. She will ruin your life. Run. Not the asshole. It's only been a month. That should be enough to make you stop and think about if this is really a relationship you want to invest time and money in. Sounds as though she has enough friends that could help her out if she's struggling. Not the asshole, and GTFO. Not the asshole. She's not even slightly trying to hide the fact that she's looking for someone to pay her bills. If your dream relationship is to be an ATM, you bloody hit the jackpot. Yuck. If you're after a healthy relationship, run. Massive red flag. Location flag. Location flag. Location flag. Location flag. Not the asshole. Of course. Am I the asshole if I refuse to attend my sister's wedding? I am thinking about not going to my sister's wedding. Here's the reason: she is an egoistic, self-centered narcissist and has made my life worse for as long as I can remember. She's been bad to many other people as well, including my whole family, but it has always seemed to me that she's had it out for me specifically. I don't know why she's behaving like this towards me. I can only speculate that it might be jealousy because I've been the academically successful one. I've always tried coexisting with her, only interacting when necessary, but it didn't go too well. I'll give you a few examples. When we still lived with our parents, I refused to let her use my printer because she yelled and insulted me an hour prior, and when I did so, she lost it and threw a hot water bottle at me. She called me and my whole family the C word over a Wi-Fi router. She called my mom the C word and told her to shut the F up, which is just not normal in our family. Not even saying shut your mouth is. After she refused to babysit her 2 bulldogs for over a week because 1, it stressed out our own dog, and 2, she has to work and take care of my little sister and the household as well. Mind you, she had babysitted the dogs before for a day or 2. But over a week because my sister wants to go on vacation with her boyfriend and the responsibility to care for her dogs is in the way now. Is too much. And the most recent incident context, she did an apprenticeship as a mechanic. She heard something I said which could indicate that I was planning on being drunk and stuff. Actually, I was talking about Pokemon Go LMAO. I rarely drink, and instead of asking me then and there, she went to my mom a week later and asked her if I have a problem with drinking. My mom, who is very sensible in regards to drinking because of a traumatic experience, called me and asked me about it. I said no and asked where my sister got that from, and she said she didn't know. So I texted her about it and she immediately called me disrespectful. Again insulted my personality and everything about me. Pulled the "you're uninvited to my wedding" card. They got engaged a week prior, and lastly told me I should be careful that nothing is going to happen to me in my car, implying harming me indirectly by sabotaging my car. After which she blocked me. Then she gave my mom an invitation for me, and my BF still blocked me though. I've had enough, and I want to make a clear cut and not have her in my life anymore. I feel as if it'll never stop if I don't cut her out now, and it will always go back and forth. Am I the asshole for replacing the expensive gourmet toffee with bulk toffee from Costco for my teenage son? When my son was in high school, I gave him a box of expensive gourmet Chapel Hill toffee for Christmas. Then he started asking me to put it on the grocery list. I told him it was a special treat, not a staple, and it wouldn't go on the list. And he argued with me. So, when I was at Costco, I found a huge jar of good toffee. Not as good as the small batch gourmet Chapel Hill toffee, but still good toffee. I bought it and stored it in my closet and filled up the Chapel Hill toffee box. I put the CHT box full of Costco toffee in the pantry. For about a month, he ate the Costco toffee. I continued to fill the fancy small box with toffee from the bulk container in my closet. Then I finally just put the now half-full big Costco toffee container in the pantry and waited for him to notice. It took a few days. He was not amused. But was the toffee good? You certainly ate it, and didn't complain about it. I think he was being a bit of an asshole to expect expensive toffee after he had been gifted it. So my actions were justified and amusing. I admit that I tricked him. But it was a harmless trick and he enjoyed the toffee. X200B. He's still kind of mad about the deception. My neighbor recently gifted us a box of Chapel Hill toffee, which caused me to recall the incident from 5 years ago. I laughed about it, but he did not. Not the asshole. He's not entitled to brand toffee on demand. You bought him decent toffee. He should be happy. Certainly as time goes on he should be more understanding as to how household finances work. Not the asshole. There are special gifts and then there are everyday items. It's not a difficult concept to grasp, especially for a teen. If he is still angry about this years later, it seems like maybe something else is going on. Perhaps he needs to see a counselor or therapist to help him work out his feelings. Info: is this an ad for small batch gourmet Chapel Hill toffee? Not the asshole. I admit that I tricked him. But it was a harmless trick and he enjoyed the toffee. This. Harmless. Not the asshole. Oh. This is funny number. You're not the asshole. He may never get over the harmless deception. But I guarantee he'll understand a lot better when he's paying for his own food. My father used to mix cheap brandy and triple sec and put it into a Grand Marnier bottle. 95 of those given a glass couldn't tell the difference. I could. And I asked him about it. Turns out he had a real bottle that he drank from himself. Since I could tell I got the good stuff, he didn't want to spend the dollar on those who didn't appreciate it. Not the asshole. Info: so what did you do when you found out your teenage son was a 65-year-old grandpa? Not the asshole. I used to insist on named brand cereal and washing powder. My mum bought one box of each and refilled with generic versions. I didn't notice the difference. Just like your son. This writer's strike is hurting us all. I do not live in NC, but I love Chapel Hill toffee and it most definitely is a special occasion. It is a favorite gift I receive from my friends there. If he wants them, he should buy them. As a toffee lover, I had to look that up. It is pretty expensive, though probably delicious. Not the asshole. He probably feels silly that he didn't know the difference. I think you're a lovely parent for providing toffee at all, even if it was bulk from Costco. Not the asshole. My first thought was being amused because it sounds like something I would do. He will get over it. Might even find a way to retaliate, lol. I'm going against the grain here, you're the asshole. Not for finding a economical way for him to enjoy toffee, but because you decided that instead of treating him like a growing human with a growing brain who doesn't grasp the concept of expense and treats, you lied to him for months. How are you going to teach lies and deception are wrong to a child and then turn around and lie to them for months and then act like that's okay and justified? You could have had a nice teachable moment, and instead you showed your son he can't trust you. Not the asshole, but why not give him a choice? The expensive toffee or the same dollar worth of the cheap toffee. Then he can decide whether the fancy stuff is worth the money. Did Chapel Hill Toffee write this? Not the asshole, you're a really nice mom just for buying him the Costco toffee. For real. He should appreciate that. I'm flabbergasted that you let him argue with you instead of just saying, I'll get it for you for special gifts since you like it so much. Unless you keep arguing with me. Simply because of the deception. Be upfront and say this is your toffee from now on. No need to lie and embarrass others to get your point across. This reminds me of when my nephew, who was 6 at the time, would only eat Nutella and not the cheaper equivalent from Aldi. His reason being it tasted disgusting. So my brother, his dad, bought the cheaper alternative anyway and steamed off the Nutella label and put it on the Aldi jar. My nephew was super happy and kept saying, see, it's way better than the cheap one. Tears of joy, tears of joy. My brother eventually came clean many months later and many happily eaten Aldi jars later, and my nephew was very shocked. Tears of joy. Not the asshole, but I wouldn't have bothered with putting it in the expensive toffee container. I would have just said, this is the toffee I can afford regularly. Even this is a treat because there's nothing in here you need to eat to survive. You don't have to eat it if you don't want to. If you want the expensive stuff, give me $X to pay for it and I'll pick it up for you next time. Expensive toffee isn't an everyday thing. But why lie about it? He can spend all his money on toffee if he wants. But you'll include more affordable toffee in the list. You are never going to win someone over by tricking them and making them feel stupid. Not the asshole. It's expensive. It was purchased as a treat. Now is a great time for your son to learn how to make toffee on his own so he can engage with a new passion and cut the toffee budget. Maybe he'll find a career in culinary creations. Not the asshole. The toffee from Costco is pretty damn good. But not nearly as good as my dad's homemade English toffee. Drooling face. TBH. Your son sounds very entitled. Not the asshole. Your son needs some adversity in his life. YTA for being deceiving. Not the asshole. Why are you not saying no to your son? You understand the parent's role, right? Giving into their every whim is harmful to them. Not the asshole. Harmless bit of fun. Not the asshole. He's a teenager. If it wasn't this, then it would just be something else. That would be the worst thing in the history of the world to happen to someone. Tears of joy, tears of joy, tears of joy. That's awesome. Sounds like something I would do to my kid. NGLI initially read toffee as coffee in the title. Realized once I opened the concept discussed actually makes sense either way though. Although I think PPL prob get more upset by switching out the coffee than some candy. Not the asshole. My kids were mad when they caught me putting bulk cereal in the Fruit Loops box. Am I the asshole for turning off my wife's credit card while she is on a girls' trip? The title is a lot worse than it sounds. For background, we both have joint and separate bank accounts. We also have joint and separate cards tied to those accounts. I have given my wife a card on my separate account and she has given me a card on hers. The joint account is used for the house expenditures, utilities, groceries and our children. We each pay for extras like vacations and eating out from our personal accounts. I don't question her purchases and she doesn't question mine. Money isn't an issue. She has even made purchases on my account in the past specifically for the kids without even telling me until after. I had no problem with any of this. When she told me she was going on a girls' trip this weekend sometime last month, I had no problem with it. It was one weekend with the kids and I easily adjusted my schedule accordingly. I wasn't concerned until she told me her cousin going. I have a huge problem with this because she is a bad influence and also a freeloader who uses family to subsidize her lifestyle. Our money somehow is always going to this girl and no matter how many times I have addressed it with my wife it hasn't stopped. It's family, so I try to not push it even though my wife is being used. Fast forward to this morning and I see my wife charged over $200 to my credit card for dinner last night. Okay. I'm sure there is a reason why she used my card specifically and not our joint card or hers. I sent a text asking if everything was okay but didn't get a response. She didn't mention it to me last night and it seems very out of character. I didn't know how to bring it up in a text message but it kept bothering me. I kept thinking about more of my money going to her cousin. By noon I still had not received a response, so after considering my options and I decided to do something. Worst case, the card was stolen, so I contacted my bank. I verified there were no other charges pending and confirmed my wife's card was physically scanned. I then requested she be removed as an authorized user from my account and to deactivate the card immediately. I did not dispute the charge. She still has her cards and our joint card, so I did not leave her stranded. I got a text message from my wife an hour later saying everything was fine and asking about the kids. I responded and neither of us mentioned the dinner charge. I'm waiting for her to bring it up first or find out the card is deactivated. I'm wondering if I overreacted. Am I the asshole? Does your wife know about all the money you spend on your sugar babies? I read your other post. I know everyone is hating on OP for paying women to sleep with him and cheating on his wife. But can we also hate on him because he's a Patriots fan who posts to conspiracy and Wall Street bets? Okay, Splendor Daddy, you're the asshole. Was the cousin your sugar baby and now you're mad your wife is spending money on her and not you? Get lost. You're the asshole, sugar daddy. You're the asshole for how you handled it. It was one dinner and taking her off as an authorized user is a massive move. I absolutely understand having a conversation with her. But going behind her back and making her unauthorized is a sign of a complete lack of trust. Wait, but your post history says you spend quite a lot on sugar babies. So my questions is, why is it not okay for your wife to spend $200 on dinner with a cousin but you can spend way more than $200 on sugar babies as your post history says? Red Ops post history. Very hypocritical, and for that, you're the asshole. You're the asshole, yikes man. Going to blow up the whole marriage for $200? It sounds like you wouldn't have cared if her cousin wasn't on the trip. You're the asshole if you don't answer the question of if this is your actual wife or your sugar baby. It sounds like you are trying to provoke a fight. You were uncomfortable texting your own wife, or just flat out asking her about it. But not uncomfortable verifying the charge and deactivating the card. You're the asshole and you have major communication issues that need sorting. You're the asshole and a shitty sugar daddy cutting off the sugar. You're the asshole. If you were concerned with why she used your card, you should have clearly asked her why she used your card. A vague "is everything okay" message does not necessarily need her to jump right up and answer it right away. She very well could have used it by accident and has no idea. Saw your text and was busy, so she responded to it when she got a chance. I hope everything else in your relationship is going well. Because you effed this one up pretty bad. Yell, he's reacting this way because he needs those $200 for his sugar babies. Chill. You're the asshole, lol, damn. Update us after she rips you a new hole. Don't put her on the card if you will freak out if she spends money. Considering you simply cancelled her card without actually asking or addressing the reason. Absolutely, you're the asshole. You also come across as petty, controlling, insecure, demeaning and otherwise rather abusive in this behavior. If you don't question her purchases, why are you policing them? She's on her trip and can make her own choices. Right? Having a wife is so expensive, oh, but the sugar babies are a justified expense. How the fork and knife are you writing that off on your expense planner? Hi Reddit friends, please upvote or reply so I can come back to this later tonight and have another cackle at the lion, the witch and the audacity of this man for being such a hypocrite mf. Like actually this post x the sugar daddy post is a surreal combo kthxbye. You're the asshole cause you waste money on a sugar baby. Maybe delete your post history. You're the asshole for not even asking her about it first. What if something happened to her card? And it didn't work and that's why she used yours. Be an adult and pick up the phone, no texting, and ask her what happened there. I have different accounts at a Belgian bank and all cards look the same, and because of this I regularly mix them up. Is it possible that she mistakenly used your card instead of hers? Jesus Christ. Reddit is chock full of men that treat their wives like absolute shit and want to control their every move. Yes. You're the asshole. But I suspect you are already aware of that. Gotta make sure that woman doesn't manage to somehow enjoy her break. You're the asshole for saying it's just one weekend with the kids, no big deal. You're the asshole, I hate cheaters and financial abusers. You and your wife do not seem to have good communication skills. Seems like a simple conversation, but maybe you are avoiding a direct conversation because you know there may be conflict over the freeloading cousin. Lol, did you forget when can see your posts about your sugar baby? Hope your wife finds this post and then your account and can leave your cheating ass. You're the asshole. Are you this cheap with your sugar babies or just the mother of your children? You're the asshole. If you were confident enough to cancel the card, you should be confident enough to tell your wife. Now, when she uses the card, she is gonna be embarrassed when decline keeps coming up. And then you gotta come clean. That is gonna be a fun conversation. And you won't come out looking good no matter how you spin it. Am I the asshole for leaving my niece's wedding reception early and taking my gift back? I'm 45 and I have a niece who is 22 and just got married last weekend. The family is blowing up with drama right now because of what I and my wife did. I must preface this by saying my family can be pushovers. They really all hate conflict and will definitely let themselves be run over by someone else in order to not cause a fight. I am not this way. The wedding was on Saturday. Catholic ceremony in a church that was at 3:30 p.m. The reception area was at a brewery about 15 minutes from the church. The reception was set to start at 5. Maybe this was stupid on the venue people. But they wouldn't open the bar or bring around the appetizers until the bride and groom arrived. Service ended around 4:30 and everyone was told to go to the reception. The wedding party had a limo to take them and a separate limo took the parents, grandparents, siblings. The couple is young and decided against family in the wedding party lol. It was 4 sorority sisters and fraternity brothers on each side. My wife and I drove. We got to the venue around 4:50 with the first family limo arriving around that time. By 5 I'd say all 150 guests were no bride and groom. The wedding coordinator was getting pissed as it's now 5:45 and no wedding party. We are all just standing around with no food or drinks. Someone was able to get a hold of the MOH around this point and apparently the bride and groom told the limo driver to stop at a liquor store and then drive around on the highway for an hour so the wedding party could get trashed. At around 6 the MOH said they should be arriving in the next 20 minutes. My wife and I looked at each other and said we are out. We thought it was horribly disrespectful for them to do that to all the guests. I told my brother Fob that we were leaving and taking the gift with us. He tried to plead by saying they're just kids, let them have fun, but I was having none of it. A few days after, I got an apology text from niece followed by an ask for the gift again. I said that I felt very disrespected and I didn't want to give a gift anymore. She snapped and called me an asshole. Not the asshole. Wedding guests are guests and shouldn't be treated so poorly by the wedding organizers, i.e. bride and groom. People took time out of their day and spent money to be there, all for the bride and groom to not even show up. Meaning nobody could eat or drink and just had to stand there awkwardly while the bride and groom got trashed. Personally, they're the assholes for me. Not the asshole. While I would have probably left the gift, I don't blame you for taking it. What they did was incredibly selfish and disrespectful. I think the fact that she immediately took back her apology and cursed you out when you didn't give her the gift speaks volumes about her character. That wasn't an apology. I'm assuming the gift was a check. Not the asshole. The maturity they showed by wanting to get trashed before the reception makes me wonder if they are mature enough for marriage. I have never heard of a venue to withhold food drink. Not the asshole. Was taking the gift back petty? Probably. But the type of petty I can endorse. What's the old saying? Fuck around and find out. Not the asshole. If it was down to them miscalculating time for wedding photography or something, then I might feel differently, but they were pre-gaming in the limo and gave zero fucks about their guests. It was incredibly rude of them. Not the asshole. If they're just kids, they shouldn't be getting married or hosting a wedding. Incredibly disrespectful on their part. I'm dying that she's asking for the gift. Save it for the second wedding. Not the asshole. People need to learn there are consequences to their actions. They were doing their thing without a care in the world for people waiting on them. You showed him the consequences. Of course she apologized, she wanted your gift. Did she apologize to any of the other 148 guests she pissed off? Not the asshole. Your niece made it very clear that her wedding guests only mattered as props for her to be the center of attention and material or monetary value. Not the asshole. I was barely 20 years old when I got married, and I would never have done that to my guests. If they wanted to goof off with their friends, that's what bachelorette parties are for. The audacity of asking for the gift after the fact is beyond me. They're not kids and you don't owe them anything. Not the asshole. How absolutely rude and trashy. Not the asshole. But perhaps everyone except the groom will get another chance at a subsequent wedding because these two currently sound too immature for adulthood. Not the asshole letting people stand around for 2 hours so you can get trashed. I would have taken the check back too and used the money to go have a nice dinner somewhere. They prioritized getting wasted over the comfort of their guests. Not the asshole. You are GHs. That's why getting married is for grown-ups. Not the asshole. But why wouldn't the venue serve anything until bride and groom got there? I've worked in events for years and never heard this. Not the asshole. As for the mixed replies the gift, I would probably have taken the gift back and replaced it with an envelope containing a $10 bill. Not the asshole. And the excuse of they are just kids is ridiculous. If they are just kids and have this level of maturity, then they have no business getting married. Bahaha. She asked for her gift back. Tacky. Maybe this was stupid on the venue people. But they wouldn't open the bar or bring around the appetizers until the bride and groom arrived. This was the decision of bride and groom. They are paying the venue and caterer. So they decide when or if serving appetizers and pay bidding punch or wine before dinner. Not the asshole. Edit. Sometimes after wedding photos take an hour. So guests are provided with appetizer and drinks before wedding party returns and dinner begins. We have 150 people we're supposed to love and care about. But let's leave them for an hour. Thirsty and hungry. And go to the liquor store and get trashed like the trailer park trash we are. Not the asshole. This type of juvenile behavior should not be rewarded. I love how her tone went from apologetic to apeshit crazy in seconds. She's not sorry. She's only sorry about the loss of funds. I hope you were going to give her a great gift or a ton of cash. If they are just kids, then they should just throw a party on a Saturday night. Not have a wedding. If you wanna do adult stuff, then act like one. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. 2 hours is completely unacceptable even if food and drinks are being served. The bride showed her lack of maturity having the audacity to ask for the gift back. Not the asshole. If they wanted to fool around after the wedding, that's their prerogative, but withholding food and beverage service to make everyone wait on them like they're the kind and queen of England was ridiculous. I would have left, too. Not the asshole. I would have left around the 5:15 mark. Not the asshole. Traditional wedding photos take forever, especially when they want every combo of family with the bride and groom, and the wedding planner should make this clear to the guests. But that driving around stunt they pulled is way over the line and disrespectful. Am I the asshole for not paying for my stepdaughter wedding? I-49M will keep this as short as possible, but basically my stepdaughter 25F wants to marry her boyfriend 25M, which was fine and all. I had the money to pay for the wedding. What could possibly go wrong? Her father 54M has never been in the picture her whole life. He was a deadbeat father, never took care of his daughter, never paid child support according to my fiancé anyway. My stepdaughter was never rude with me and always showed respect, so I always showed respect for her and bought all her the necessities she needed. Maybe too much. Now looking back, I'm an effing ATM. What was I thinking? Anyway, since I'm paying for a $200K wedding, I just asked for my mother and her two-step siblings to receive invitations since they are her siblings. My fiancé and daughter were like, cool, we will. Now obviously this could be a mistake, but invitations come around. My stepdaughter informed me that she didn't want any children at her wedding. But that seemed odd to me because my fiancé's sister children were invited, so why wasn't her own siblings invited? I asked her and she said it was just a mistake. Probably a red flag, but we move. A few days later, my daughter-in-laws come to my house and a question was asked by the in-law, targeting my daughter, asking who's going to walk her down the aisle. My daughter announced it was her deadbeat effing clown of a father. My fiancé was in shock from her announcement, and my daughter kept going on about how they've been in touch and the fact that he's her true father, and at that point, I lost it. I announced that her real father can pay for the wedding, he can't, lol, since I'm a check for my stepdaughter. My stepdaughter started screaming at me and all the guests left the house. My fiancé wasn't too happy, stating that I humiliated her in front of her in-laws and the fact they spent a year planning. I stated that I wasted $200K on an ungrateful brat, maybe asshole for this, and spewed insults towards her father. As you can tell, I have hatred towards that man, so am I the asshole? Edit. I want to clarify a few things briefly. Just because you saw a similar story or situation doesn't mean whoever the stepfather was the only person to be in this situation. Secondly, my stepdaughter told me I would walk her down the aisle, then proceeded to lie and humiliate me in front of the guests. Thirdly, a few people asked why I laughed it off. Whenever I'm in bad situation, I just like to laugh it off like Spider-Man, I guess. Not the asshole, petty person here. If you paid for it and can't get a refund, I would still cancel the order or change the delivery address. Catering paid for and no refund, cancel or change the delivery address to a local shelter. Flowers paid for, change the address to a Am I the asshole for telling a guy the first would trade seats for money? I just flew home with my family from a holiday. My dad paid for everything. On the plane, some guy wanted to switch seats with me so he could sit with his wife. I know my dad paid extra for our seats for extra legroom. But I'm not tall and don't need it. So I told the guy the first would trade him if he gave me $200. He got all offended and said I could just be a nice person. I said if he doesn't want to trade, it's fine by me. He went away and I sat beside his wife all the way home. She seemed nice. My mom says I was a jerk to offer to trade places for money. I should either have said no or done it to be nice. But my dad paid for those seats, so I don't see why this guy should get to upgrade for free. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Notice he did not offer to switch places due that they were both in crappy seats. He wanted the extra room for free. You are not obliged to switch seats. If he really wanted to, he would have paid up. Not the asshole. Now that airlines charge for nicer seats, the real assholes are those who expect people to trade a seat they or someone likely paid extra money for in exchange for a crappier seat. If you don't care enough to pay to sit next to your family spouse, whatever, then live with your shitty seat and leave other passengers alone. Not the asshole. Ha 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 ha. I love this. When you pay extra for a better seat and some random person in the back wants to trade, you are under zero obligation to trade. Why shouldn't they pay the extra? Recently I asked to trade seats with someone so I could sit next to my traveling companion. Same aisle seat. They got to move one row closer. That's a pretty fair trade. But they didn't have to say yes. Next time I'm going up to first class to tell him to be a nice person one by one. Try my luck. Not the asshole. This is hilarious. He said a nice person would switch just because he asked. Yeah. What he actually meant was doormat. Not the asshole at all. I mean, $200 is a bit steep, but he should have paid for connected seats. I literally cannot stand these people who purchase the least expensive tickets with no assigned seats and then bank on other travelers' generosity. I always prepay for my seat and I'm not going to give it up just because somebody is a cheapskate. Not the asshole. You can't upgrade to a better and more expensive seat expecting somebody will just give it to you. Their best bet would be to have the wife move to the cheaper seat and that person could get a free upgrade if they are nice. Not the asshole. Your seat was paid for with extra leg room. If he wanted that seat, he could have booked it earlier. In my experience, the extra legroom seats are mostly pre-booked. Not the asshole. You are never obligated to change your seat. I never do unless the seat is equal or better than my seat. Since your seat was upgraded, no need to move. He could have asked the guy next to him to change with his wife, but he wanted an upgraded seat for free. Why are these requests always for the better seat, more legroom, aisle, window, etc.? The middle person in economy is never asked to move up. I book in advance and pay more for the seat I want, and it may make me tar. But I never switch to a worse seat. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Someone once offered to swap seats with me on Eurostar London to Paris train. He'd bumped into an old friend at the station who was next to me and offered me his seat in the business class carriage. Naturally, I accepted. When someone wants to sit next to someone, offer up the better seat, which they did, and everyone was happy. Not the asshole. I am a frequent traveler and this is my policy if someone wants the seat I booked. I am very purposeful about the seat I choose on the plane. I've had a lady throw a fit because I wouldn't switch with her and I just don't care. Pay me or go away. I paid for this and you're disturbing my quiet time. Not the asshole. I think people usually pull this on travelers who look young. Because they're more likely to just give it up. Not the asshole. Why didn't his wife trade places with someone? I have way too much anxiety to switch seats unless I'm being moved up to first class or something. Even then, IDK. Whatever's on my ticket is where I need to sit. Not the asshole. He could have asked his seatmate to sit in wife's spot. Or maybe they said no to slightly smiling face. Your dad paid extra. He can too if he wants a better seat. Once had a stewardess ask me to change my window seat to a middle one so Reverend and his wife could sit together. I declined. The stewardess said, "But he's a minister." I said I didn't understand what that had to do with exchanging seats. I saw her go back to tell him not dressed as a minister, so he had to have used that to get preferential treatment. Wife was sitting next to me and studiously ignored me the whole flight. Not the asshole. Seat switches are the worst. Not the asshole. His comment on being nice was purely to guilt trip. He should have planned better if sitting next to his wife was such a concern. You asking for compensation to move isn't unreasonable since airplanes are already expensive. Seating wise. Lol, great idea. Why shouldn't you be compensated? When I fly, I pay for better seats. I would have to make some serious cash to switch seats. Not the asshole. All these plane switch stories are driving me nuts. You want extra legroom? Pay for it. You want to sit together? Pay for it. It sucks that the airlines do that. But ultimately, if I chose not to pay for assigned seated, I suck it up. If it's a long flight, I will pay to be seated together with my family. Not the asshole. He and his wife could have paid for better seats. Or to sit together. If they booked early enough. If you had been paid. By your logic, at least some of that should have gone to your father, who actually paid for the seats. I was on a flight recently and a kid screamed for his daddy the entire flight. His dad was sleeping in a different row. Pretty sure the woman sitting next to the kid and mom would have switched, but the dad didn't even ask. Also, I hate flying. Not the asshole. Interesting that they didn't let the wife offer to switch seats to sit by the husband in the cheaper, less legroom section. If it were regular seats it would be different. But there's nothing wrong with telling the guy you were in an upgrade seat and you'd do it for some cash. Not the asshole. Lololololol. Not the asshole. This is amazing. Not the asshole. Too many people are asking people to switch seats on planes. It's time they accepted. If they didn't get the seat they wanted. Too bad. Dude thought he hacked the system to avoid paying for seats together for him and his wife. He took a chance and it didn't work. It's not your fault that he didn't want to pay before. And asking him to pay now is perfectly reasonable. Especially if you did pay to sit together. Not the asshole. Hard call in that it's becoming way too common for people to buy the cheapest run of the plane seats. And then bully people into switching so they can sit together. If he really wanted to sit by his wife, why didn't he ask his seatmate in his lesser seats to switch with his wife and sit with you? Not the asshole. You're never obligated to give up a seat on a plane. I'm a very leggy 6'1" and know how precious that extra leg space is. Airlines shouldn't be packing people in so tightly. But it's actually a lot to give up for free with the way everything is.